Hello and welcome to episode 27 of VocTerGaming. I am your host, the vocal terrorist, Jesse Rain, and I am being very self-indulgent this week as I am going to cast the finals of the IEM tournament, which was held in Cologne just this past week, between this player, the blue Protoss, spawning in the southwest position. He is, of course, oGsMC, and spawning in the northeast, we have the red Terran. We have EGPUMA. Now, both of these are players I really like and I'm really interested in. I'm really glad they both got to the finals of the IEM. As we have EGPUMA, who is a really good Terran, but is not having the success out in Korea. Of course, did take the NASL finals against oGsMC in an absolutely brilliant, tight series. But of course, oGsMC, known as the Kratos Protoss, that is so hard to say. How do they manage it? He tears nerds apart. He has won 2 GSLs and is so sick, but is not getting the same kind of results that the start of his career showed. So it is nice to see him doing well in the foreign tournaments. Of course, as I alluded to, these players do have a history from the finals of the first season of the North American Star League, which went so close, but with Puma just edging out, taking it by 1 game. That was an absolutely fantastic series, and is what really first alerted a lot of people to what EGPUMA can really do. As we see this probe using the mineral trick to sneak in past that SCV, but of course doesn't get a great deal of information. It is just the 1 gas there, as we see. Now, Zelnaga Caverns, I'd like to talk about that a bit. It is one of my favourite maps from the early on to play as Terran. I think it's a hard map to play as pretty much any other race, as this little rush down here where you can you push down your ramp past the Zelnaga Watchtower to make sure nothing's coming. You can attack the gold base very easily if anyone tries to take that. This expansion here is so open because you have this entry point, and of course the entry point here as well. It's so easy to attack any kind of expansion. That's why we haven't seen oGsMC expand early whatsoever, as he knows that there's just no way to defend it against any kind of 2 racks pressure. So you see Puma here is just going to build that bunker there, is going to defend against any kind of 4-gate oGsMC tries to do, although it does not look like he's going to go for that kind of thing. And up here we see the factory being built for Puma. Puma right now a proponent of what's called the 1-1-1 Terran style of play. You get 1 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport, and then you generally just turn out marines, tanks and medevacs, and then you push, take some SCVs with you, try and build a few bunkers, and it can be absolutely devastating. It's very different to a normal kind of all-in push, where when you take SCVs and you lose them and you die, where because it's mainly focused about marines, as this Stalker and Zealot do try and probe in, but will not get anything past that bunker. When normally, when you all in with something like that and take SCVs, you lose them all, you die, and you GG. But because it's so marine heavy, which are just mineral based, there are no gas involved in training marines. What you end up with instead is this absolutely fantastic push where you can get a second wave of units out even if you lose all of that first one. Now we see a tech lab here and a reactor on the barracks, so it's not going to get any combat shield or stim. Is instead going to drop the starport on it. It's interesting, could be seeing banshees, and in fact is researching cloak, so it looks like we will see an early banshee, which is very good. It does add to the damage dealing, and with the cloak can be really frustrating. Does force MC to get an observer. Now as we see, he is expanding to this base here. He is adding 2 more warp gates to make 3. He's got the robo facility also going down here. And as we see, the first banshee is being made here. Factory lifting up, I assume that means he's going to swap for this tech lab very shortly to start pumping out siege tanks. No, he's just going to build one there himself. Interesting, so we could be seeing a few banshees coming out. as we see 2 more racks being added now. This is very, very intelligent. This is basically how 111 plays. You get your racks, factory, starport, and then you drop out as many more racks as you can handle, because you want to increase your marine numbers as quickly as possible. Now I imagine once Cloak finishes, we are going to see a switch. Interesting getting the Raven rather than a second Banshee. I like that. I like Raven play in Terran games. It's especially useful because you know with that Banshee with Cloak, if you can keep it alive, it's going to add to your damage dealing exponentially. And so what the Raven allows is you can spot the Observer, kill it, which means your Cloaked Banshee cannot be attacked at all. Obviously Protoss not having these scans of Terran. Now interesting, MC is plumping to go for the Immortal. Not going to drop the support bay and get Colossi. Not going to get a Templar Archives just yet. I do like Immortals. I think they are underused. I think as of now not many people really understand how to use them properly. And as such they do go slightly unused in games. But I'm sure at some point they will make a comeback. And we will be seeing much more Immortal play from Protoss players, especially foreign ones. I think the way to look at it is the European Protoss. I think will be the first to really pick up on it. Interestingly, Puma is slightly low on gas and is right now unable to build any medevacs because of that Raven, but I still think it's the right choice. I think he'll be able to get medevacs out very shortly as we see more and more Marines now streaming out. This looks like the start of the first push. That probe is going to go down. And he is bringing a ton of SCVs. That is 10 SCVs. He's going to want to let them get in front of the army to tank the damage, unless he's going to try and use them to build some bunkers. This probe is going to spot it, so MC knows what's coming. He's gathering his forces. He only has 2 sentries, but sentries now 3, but this one is going to be very low on energy. Force fields are going to be very, very useful against this army. But there just does not seem like an awful lot of stuff here to hold this push. There is a siege tank with this, 2 siege tanks, sorry, 1 Banshee that does have Cloak but not much energy. We do have a Raven with nearly full energy. That will be brilliant for point defense drones, which completely stop the Stalkers from attacking. Or you can also drop auto turrets. Is now sieged up within range of the Nexus. This Nexus is going to die. There is just no way you can hold it. This Nexus is definitely going down no matter what happens. As that siege tank will continue to take it. Those probes do a brilliant job there, stopping that bunker from being built. A bunker being built here would be game over. MC with a decent force field, but it's now just getting in the way of his Zealots. Zealots now moving in, losing lots and lots, but the Immortal's doing heavy damage. As for the Stalkers, but that point defense drone goes down, and that is going to stop that attack in its tracks. 1 more Observer goes down, so again that Banshee can cloak and move in with impunity. Does go down, however, as he got yet another Observer out. That is brilliant play from MC. Puma really did not want to lose that Banshee at all. He's going to try and build a bunker now. Marines moving in, but good force fields trapping some of the Marines. Immortals now, 4 Immortals doing damage, pushing the Terran back. Puma is being forced back to his tank. But again, so much damage being done here. And again, MC is forced to pull back, and Puma is setting up a really nice position here. That bunker is going to finish. I don't think he can stop that bunker from finishing now. Brilliantly timed move. Is he going to stop the bunker from finishing? The bunker does finish, but will any Marines get inside? 4 Marines inside, but the bunker goes down immediately. Brilliant move there by MC. Great timing on that. Has lost only 1 of the Immortals, which is so good. These Immortals, though, are low health. Needs to be careful now. 2 Immortals on orange, 1 still at full. But it looks like this push has been finished. The Raven is going to escape. Puma is forced to pull back. And if we look now at the workers killed tab, interestingly enough, 8 workers lost for MC and 6 for Puma. So this is a lot more even than it looks. With MC killing 49 units to Puma's 36, that is not what we would call a successful rush whatsoever. With only 1 tank, 12 Marines and a Raven left. 19 STVs to 38 probes, but of course the mules will help with that in the short term. What MC needs to do now is survive and perhaps expand again. Now what's scary and what's so scary about this 1-1-1 rush is this. It's the second wave of units. This is so hard to defeat now. He needs to pull these units back as soon as possible. He does not want them caught out here alone. He needs to pull them back to a decent defensive position. He needs to warp in a lot more zealots than he currently has, with only 4 zealots there. As we see, he is building that Nexus again. He is getting the Twilight Council, which will of course build, I believe, having seen the Raven, I don't think Dark Templar is the way to go. I think perhaps High Templar with the Storms can be very, very effective against the Marines. Sorry, you get a couple of High Templar out, you let them build their energy up, you drop a massive Storms on the Marine heavy army of Puma, and then morph them to Archons. I think that could be really devastating. I hope that's what we see. This Banshee was doing some harass. Apologies, I did miss that. I was so busy talking about getting excited about High Templar. This Nexus does now finish. I will keep an eye for anything else. It looks like we are about to start the second push, however. As we see this Banshee here, this is entirely a one-blaze play, don't forget. If this attack fails, there is nothing Puma can do. He will be so far behind. That's why it's so important for this to work. That's why MC needs to focus on defense. He needs to just focus on holding this. With his 2-base play, he will be ahead if he can hold this attack. But having these Stalkers go off on their own is not what you want to do at all. If these get caught away from the defense of the Immortals, they are going to get absolutely crushed. As we see charge being researched now, which is useful. This attack has to finish the game for Puma. There is 0 other options for him. Either this finishes the game or Puma loses. Now, oGsMC does have the 107 food advantage to the 80 of Puma. But if we check out the units tab, that is mostly in probes. So these are very, very equal armies right now. As they move in to engage, Siege Tank's doing a lot of damage to those zealots. Charge is not finished yet. This is a brilliant timing by Puma. The Immortals coming in though, taking out the Siege Tank so quickly. Needs to be careful not to lose them though. All these Stalkers are going to go down. All the Stalkers go down. All the Zealots go down. And these Immortals are not going to be able to do the damage on their own. That point defense run was so effective. The Observers are gone, which means the Cloak Banshees can do as much damage as they please. Taking out the Immortal, of course, the best thing to do now is just to destroy the base of MC. Even though the food count is fairly equal, there is nothing he can do against these 2 Banshees now. As he's not going to be able to get the Stalkers out in time. More units are going to stream into the base, and everything is being destroyed here. Once you get on the production facilities, all MC has is this one pylon up here, which is not going to be enough to warp units in and bring them around the back. So all these Stalkers are going to die. And that is going to be the end of this game. Puma is going to go 1-0 up in this IEM. Oh, best of 5. Absolutely brilliant play there by Puma. That is why the 1-1-1 rush is so scary right now to a Protoss player. It's that second wave of units that just cannot be held off. I really think you have to have High Templar by then. I feel like that is the only way to hold that off right now. I know for every StarCraft 2 player there is a StarCraft 2 opinion. But this game is over now. MC needs to GG and get out and just go to game 2, try and recover. Hopefully be on a map slightly bigger than Zelnaga Caverns, maybe a 4-player map that will help him defend against that 1-1-1 rush, because I have no doubt at all that Premier is going to do that again. MC is trying to pull probes here, is going to get those Marines, but it's not going to be enough. More Marines coming in now. This Nexus is going to die, along with all those Zealots. As these probes finish now, MC will be left with absolutely 0. He has 1 Observer, 4 Stalkers, 2 Zealots and 13 probes. Rapidly dwindling now. And there's the GG from oGsMC. Puma takes game 1 and he goes 1-0 in this IEM finals from Cologne. Absolutely fantastic game. I know a lot of Protoss will be very upset at the start of that with the Terran 1-1-1 so strong right now. Okay, that is us for today. I will be back tomorrow with Game 2 of the IEM Finals. Don't forget to join the chat at irc.funetic.net /gaming. Don't forget, you can send me your StarCraft 2 replays to VocTerGaming@gmail.com. And I'd like to take this moment to send out a big thank you to TeamLiquid.net, especially Liquid NASL, who gave me permission to advertise on there. And of course, the fanbase, which, as of last night, has been giving me so much good feedback and so many more views on these videos. That is so helpful. Thank you very much, guys.